Seniors 5 dangerous vitamins you should never take, and 5 you should take daily. You think taking vitamins is harmless, even smart. But what if 5 of the pills you swallow in good faith are quietly undermining your health, draining your energy, or even accelerating the very aging you're trying to prevent? Because not all supplements are safe after 50. And the ones you've been told to trust may now be working against you, especially if you've been feeling more tired lately. If your joints ache without explanation, if your memory seems duller, or if your digestion no longer works like it once did, and the first hidden threat is vitamin A in high doses. Because while small amounts are necessary for eye health, seniors are especially vulnerable to vitamin A toxicity, which builds up silently in your liver over time and leads to dizziness, brittle bones, blurred vision, and even liver stress symptoms that are often mistaken for just aging, but are in fact warning signs. Your body is trying to flush out what it can't tolerate anymore. And if you're already eating foods like eggs, butter, or liver, adding synthetic vitamin A only compounds the overload, especially if it's listed as retinol palmitate on your supplement label. And the second dangerous vitamin is vitamin E in its synthetic form, often labeled as DL-alpha tocopherol, which sounds harmless, but can disrupt the balance of other forms of vitamin E in your body, suppress immune function, and even increase your risk of hemorrhagic stroke. Yes, stroke from a vitamin that was once marketed as heart-healthy. And while natural mixed tocopherols are safer, most store-bought multivitamins use the cheaper synthetic form. And if you're taking it daily, you could be stacking risks your doctor never explained. And the third vitamin to avoid is vitamin B6 in megadoses, because while it's essential for nerve health in small amounts, too much, especially over 100 milliliters per day, can actually cause nerve damage, leading to numbness, tingling, and loss of coordination that mimic neuropathy or balance disorders. And many senior-targeted energy supplements pack in far more than you need, and you don't feel it right away. But over time, your limbs may start to feel strange, and no one connects it back to the vitamin you thought was helping you stay sharp. And then comes vitamin D2. The synthetic cousin of the more effective D3-D2 is often prescribed or included in older formulas, especially in fortified foods and cheaper supplements. But studies show it's poorly absorbed, less effective, and may even increase calcium imbalance when taken long-term, putting your bones and arteries at risk. And the irony is brutal. You think you're helping your bones, but if you're taking the wrong form of D, you're feeding instability instead of strength. And the fifth hidden danger is iron, especially if you're not anemic and still take a multivitamin with iron every day, because iron builds up in your tissues with age, especially in men and postmenopausal women. And that iron overload doesn't make you feel energized. It makes you feel inflamed, stiff, and brain-fogged. And it quietly increases your risk of heart disease, Alzheimer's, and diabetes. And if your ferritin levels haven't been tested, but you're still taking iron just in case, you're gambling with something your body may already have too much of. And these 5 vitamins taken daily by millions are a perfect example of how something can look healthy on the outside while silently draining you from the inside. But the good news is just as powerful. There are 5 vitamins that aging bodies need daily, not because they're trendy, but because they restore what time has taken. And the first is vitamin D3, the bioavailable form your skin once made in the sun, but now struggles to produce, and without enough of it, your immune system weakens, your mood darkens, your bones thin, and your muscles lose strength. Yet with the right amount, everything stabilizes: your sleep, your balance, your energy, and even your memory. And it's one of the simplest corrections you can make if you're over 60 and feeling sluggish, but only if you take it with K2, because D3 raises calcium, And K2 tells it where to go into your bones, not your arteries, and this is the kind of strategic supplementation that turns a flat body back into a responsive one. And the second daily vitamin you must not miss is vitamin B12, especially in its methylcobalamin form, because as you age, your stomach acid declines, making it harder to absorb B12 from food, and a silent deficiency can lead to fatigue, memory problems, balance issues, even depression. And it's common for seniors to be misdiagnosed with early dementia or Parkinson's, when it's really just a B12 issue that's been overlooked for years, and correcting it can bring back clarity, focus, and energy in a matter of weeks. And if you've been feeling lost in your thoughts, slower to recall things, or more emotional without reason, this could be your missing link. And if B12 is the key to turning the lights back on in your brain, then magnesium is the switch that keeps everything working in the background. Because this one mineral, technically not a vitamin, but more vital than most, is involved in over 300 biochemical processes in your body, and yet nearly 80% of seniors are deficient without knowing it, especially those on blood pressure meds, diuretics, or antacids. And this deficiency doesn't scream, it whispers through restless legs, poor sleep, constipation, muscle cramps, irregular heartbeat, anxiety, and sudden spikes in blood sugar or blood pressure that doctors often chase with more medication. Instead of asking the real question, is your body running on empty? And magnesium, especially in its glycinate or citrate form, can restore calm, improve sleep, ease digestion, and relax your vessels, your nerves, and even your mood. But not if you take the wrong type or ignore the signs. And if you've been waking up tired, struggling to fall asleep, or feeling like your body is always tight and wired, at the same time, magnesium is not optional, it's foundational. And next is vitamin K2, which no one talks about, even though it works hand in hand with D3 to prevent the calcium from hardening your arteries instead of strengthening your bones. Because here's the scary truth, if you take D3 without K2, especially as a senior, you may actually accelerate arterial plaque buildup, leading to heart disease while thinking you're protecting your skeleton. But with K2 in the MK7 form, calcium knows exactly where to go, reducing stiffness, improving bone density, and even reversing some early signs of calcification. Yet it's left out of most multivitamins because it's more expensive. And unless you eat fermented foods like natto, you're likely not getting enough through diet, which means you're walking around with calcium in your bloodstream that has no idea where it belongs. And then there's coenzyme Q10, or CoQ10, not technically a vitamin, but essential for energy production in every cell, especially in your heart and brain. And the problem is, your body makes less of it every year after 40, and statin medications, commonly prescribed to seniors for cholesterol, block your body's ability to make it altogether, leading to fatigue, muscle weakness, and brain fog that builds up silently over months and years until you're a shadow of yourself and no one connects the dots. But when you take the active form, ubiquinol, not ubiquinone, you can restore what those pills and the passage of time have drained and feel stronger, steadier, even younger. And finally, you need omega-3 fatty acids, especially EPA and DHA, not from plant sources like flax or chia, but from purified fish oil or algae, because your aging brain is made of fat, and every drop of omega-3 you feed, it helps fight off the inflammation that leads to Alzheimer's, depression, and stroke. And if you've been struggling with sharpness, feeling emotionally flat, or like your thoughts are moving through molasses, the cause may not be age, it may be that your brain is starving for the fat. It was built to run on, and nothing feeds your neural wiring better than omega-3s. And when you combine them with the D3, the B12, the magnesium, the K2, and the CoQ10, your body doesn't just survive, it begins to repair. Your cells remember what strength felt like. Your blood flows smoother, your memory wakes up, your energy stops crashing by 2 p.m. And suddenly you're not just managing aging, you're reversing damage. No one told you could be reversed, because that's the secret. No one told you your body still remembers how to feel strong. It just needs the raw materials to rebuild. And most seniors walk around thinking the damage is permanent, that the fog, the fatigue, the fragile bones, and flat moods are just the price of aging, when in reality, they're often symptoms of long-term malnutrition by misinformation. The kind that comes from swallowing a multivitamin with synthetic B6, toxic forms of vitamin E, or overdoses of iron that quietly corrode your energy from the inside out. And the tragedy is, you never meant to harm yourself. You were just trying to do the right thing, but the labels didn't warn you, the bottles didn't explain the difference between a vitamin and a bioavailable vitamin. And now here you are wondering why the supplements you've been loyal to are giving you so little in return. And maybe you've even doubled the dose thinking more was better, not realizing that more of the wrong thing only makes the damage faster. And now your joints ache, your memory slips, your heart pounds without reason, and no one suspects the bottle in your kitchen drawer. But that's where the change begins, because your body isn't broken. It's simply buried under years of misaligned support, and the moment you replace synthetic vitamin A with food-based carotenoids from carrots, sweet potatoes, and real retinol in the right dose, your liver starts breathing again. The moment you ditch DL-alpha tocopherol and replace it with full-spectrum tocopherols and tocotrienols, your cells stop panicking and begin to repair. The moment you throw away D2 and absorb D3 with K2, your bones stop begging for help, and your arteries stop stiffening. The moment you stop guessing and start understanding, your body says, "Thank you not with fireworks, but with steadiness, with deeper sleep, steadier balance, clearer thoughts, and a feeling in your muscles you haven't felt in years. Aliveness, like your body is finally responding again." And if that sounds impossible, remember this. Every cell in your body is waiting for better instructions. Your DNA hasn't forgotten how to thrive. It's just been silenced by missing cofactors, by blocked absorption, by synthetic imitations that look like nutrition but behave like confusion. And now you know the difference. Now you can choose to stop swallowing poison with a smile, just because the label says heart support or immune booster. You know to question why vitamin B6 is dosed at 2,000% of the daily value, why iron is still included in formulas for seniors who don't bleed monthly anymore, why the most powerful vitamins are often left out completely, not because they don't work, but because they're expensive, they require explanation, and most companies are betting that you won't ask. But you are asking now. You're not swallowing out of habit. You're reading, watching, choosing, and that changes everything, because the difference between the senior who fades and the one who sharpens with time is not genetics. It's awareness. It's the daily choice to take what works and stop what harms. Even if it's subtle. Even if it comes in a bottle you've trusted for decades. And when you make that choice, your body responds. Not just physically, but emotionally. Because vitamins don't just feed the muscles or bones, they regulate. Neurotransmitters, mood chemistry, hormone balance, and sleep depth. And if you've felt flat lately, emotionally numb, like you're watching your life through glass, it may not be grief or age, it may be that you're missing something as simple and essential as methylated B12, or absorbing calcium into your soft tissue, because you took D3 without K2, or your energy system has slowed to a crawl because your CoQ10 is gone and your cells can't make ATP without it. And these are not mysterious failures. They're fixable imbalances, but only if you stop hoping your body will just work and start feeding it what it's begging for in silence. Because silence is how the damage happens. Not through pain, not through warning, but through the absence of feeling, the gradual fading of clarity, strength, and confidence until you don't recognize your own body anymore. And what you call aging is often just your cells crying out for the right fuel and getting nothing but noise in return. And that's what synthetic vitamins are. Noise interference, mimicry without function. Like pouring syrup into a gas tank and wondering why the engine stalls, and you've been doing that unknowingly because you trusted the labels, the brand names, the commercials that told you one a day was enough, that more was better, that any version would do. And now the signs are showing up: fatigue that sleep doesn't fix, balance that gets shakier by the month, memory that slips when no one's watching, digestion that turns every meal into a gamble, and you think you need a new diagnosis, a new pill, a new specialist. When really you need to stop giving your body fake support and start feeding it real intelligence, because your body is not broken. It's underfed, overburdened, and waiting for relief. And that relief doesn't come from a drawer full of cheap multivitamins. It comes from precision, from choosing forms your body can use: D3 with K2, not D2, methylcobalamin, not cyanocobalamin, natural E, not synthetic, magnesium glycinate, not oxide, omega-3s from clean sources, not capsules filled with rancid oil that leaves a fishy burp and does nothing for your brain. And when you get that right, when you rebuild your internal pharmacy with purpose, your body responds like it's been waiting your whole life, because it has. And within weeks, the lights come back on. Your mornings feel stronger, your thinking sharper, your emotions more stable, your skin less dry, your heart less anxious, your sleep deeper, and the people around you start asking what changed. But it's not one thing, it's everything, because you stopped guessing and started choosing. You stopped settling and started honoring, and maybe that's what this whole journey has been about. Not just staying alive, but feeling alive again. And it starts not with a miracle drug, but with what you put in your mouth every morning, what you swallow, what you trust. And now that you know which 5 vitamins are silently hurting you and which 5 your body is desperate to receive, you stand at a crossroads every single day. And the question is not whether supplements work. It's whether you're using the right ones in the right forms for the right reasons, with the wisdom you've earned by surviving everything that's brought you here. So what will you do now? Will you continue swallowing what no longer serves you, or will you clear the shelf, start fresh, and rebuild your strength molecule by molecule, cell by cell, memory by memory, until you not only remember who you are, you feel like yourself again? Because the moment you do, aging stops being something that happens to you and becomes something you master from the inside out.